Shall we wait for the ladies or we can get started?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, it is 12:04. Are we good? Yes? Okay. Okay. Call to order of the meeting of the Program and Policy Committee meeting. It is 12:04, and we're meeting here in the Alpha Lee West Building, room 105, at the Fort McIntosh campus. Our roll call is as follows. Jackie Levin Ramos present, Erica Benavides Garcia,
Present.
Lizzie Newsom, absent, Ernestina Titavela, absent. They're on their way, so just for the record, they should be arriving soon. We're going to go ahead and go on to number 3, discuss the modification to Laredo College Board Policy BGC Local Administrative Organization, Councils and Faculty Senates. Dr. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, welcome. Thank you for being here during lunch.
Good afternoon, Ms. Ramos, Benavides Garcia.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Dr. Bonita, and the folks that are here. Marisela Rodriguez Tijerina, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs. I'm here to present the modifications that are needed due to Senate Bill 37, which is now mandating.
Do you repeat this?
Can you repeat myself?
No, we didn't.
Okay. I'm here to present the modifications that are needed in accordance to Senate Bill 37 that need to be implemented September 1st, right? And so if you recall, July, we abolished Faculty Senate again, only because the law mandated us to. We were not in compliance in regards to the membership requirements that were stipulated in the law. And now the next step is to adopt a policy. If we don't adopt this policy, we cannot move forward with the establishment of any faculty council. And so I'm here to present BGC local. And if you look at your packets, you can see how just the title in itself, it used to be an administrative organization. Now it's, sorry, let me get to, there we go.
Mhm.
So now it is board duties and responsibility on the faculty council. And we're suggesting faculty council because in the summer discussions, I think we had decided to call it the new version faculty council versus faculty senate so that we don't get confused, right? So the first part, I mean, no more SAC COC. I mean, yes, SAC COC still asks for an academic shared governance, not necessarily that they're mandating us to do a faculty senate, but to definitely have faculty participate in discussions in more than anything, curriculum development. But in accordance to Senate Bill 37, I'm sorry.
Chair recognizes Ms. Vela in attendance. Thank you for coming. Welcome. We are on number 3.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So we're discussing the Senate Bill 37 mandate, which is to adopt a new policy. And I was just discussing how the title in itself had to change from an administrative organization to now a board duty and responsibility. So pretty much the first principal objectives had to be deleted. And if you keep looking at the bottom, the purpose is to express the importance now of the Board of Trustees, recognizing the importance of faculty involvement in institutional governance and academic affairs. To support this, the Board of Trustees establishes a faculty council to serve in an advisory capacity and to provide a formal and organized structure for faculty participation in matters such as curriculum, academic standards, and faculty welfare. The Faculty Council shall act as an advisory body to the college administration in accordance with the state law, including the Texas Education Code 5.3522 and subsequent amendments to Senate Bill 37. So pretty much the authority and oversight is that the Board of Trustees are the only ones that can declare the establishment or the continuation of a faculty council.
Correct.
And then we included an administrative procedures. And in here, it is really a replica of what the law indicates. So
Okay.
I don't think we had any verbiage to add here, other than in the last meeting, Dr. Martinez did present delegations, divisional delegations, and that's the difference of what we placed in this round, because we did have a meeting after that meeting, Dr. Ramirez, Dr. Martinez, myself, and we both discussed, again, the elements really of Senate Bill 37, because that's why we're here, right?
Mhm.
And we agreed to divide them by divisional delegations, but the limit of not more than 60, that is part of Senate Bill 37, and that there has to be 2 representatives from each divisional delegation, and 1 member of each divisional delegation must be appointed by the chief executive officer of the college, and the remaining members elected by the vote of the faculty of the members. So again, the reason we had to abolish it is because we didn't adhere to the membership that was stipulated by the law
Before?
before.
Wow.
Because before, 100% was nominated by the faculty. And now,
Some.
Dr. Ramirez would have to appoint
Mhm.
some, and then the others have to, and then you have to have
Elected.
an equal representation of how you divide the divisions.
Okay.
Correct.
Wow. That's a good thing.
And also there's stipulations. So again, all of this is copy and paste. I guess I can say that in public. We are adhering to the law.
Yes.
Because it also has time limits of their service and
Right.
officer requirements,
Right.
the rules governing the meetings. So now, if there's quorum, it has to be a public meeting. And that has to be put on our website to
Public
where the
notice.
public,
Wow.
can
Yes.
view that.
Mhm.
So that we will work with IT and media on that. And there's also scope and limitations on their advisory responsibilities, which they always had
Okay.
before. And basically the compliance with the applicable state laws, including requirements for live streaming, public notice, and record keeping. So these procedures will ensure the faculty council operates within the bounds of its advisory role, supporting shared governance while remaining in line with the college mission and relevant statutes. So we're here today to basically, as I mentioned earlier, if we don't adopt this policy, we cannot move forward with creating it. And we need to create it as soon as possible, so that way we modify our constitution, our faculty procedure manual. We do the voting of what faculty can do, and then Dr. Ramirez to appoint the members that are needed. So that's going to take a process, and we're hoping to bring some kind of update by the November board meeting. But all of this can be implemented by January or 2026 if we
Okay.
move fast enough.
Okay,
And that's our
good.
goal.
Chair recognizes Ms. Vela.
How's faculty about this?
I mean, I think at this point, we're just following the law.
I
and-
know. Do
and
they
yeah,
realize
we
that
can
we're not doing it because we want to?
Yes.
It's,
yes.
it's mandated, and I'm
Right.
sorry.
So at convocation, when we came back, I did talk about Senate Bill 37 and the faculty council, revamping of the faculty council, again, only because of Senate Bill 37, not because the board or administration is wanting this change. It's just we're adhering to Senate Bill 37.
Chair recognizes Ms. Garcia.
Dr. Marisela, also, I mean, really, what has changed other than the limits, right? At the times that they can serve,
Right.
but they've always been in advisory capacity, so that's not going to change,
Right.
right? Other than the appointments and the staggering of the years, right? But, I mean, pretty much.
Well, and there is something else, if I may, Ms.
Chair recognizes Dr. Ramirez.
Thank you. According to the law,
Okay.
the faculty council will exist if the administration allows.
Okay.
It's a bottom line.
Which
And
we-
approved by the
So if
board.
if we say we don't want it, they.
No, if I say,
Okay.
Yeah.
technically, and I
It's
say
yours.
as the president, right?
Right.
If I say,
Get
you know
over it.
what, this
It's
year, we're
over.
not going to have a faculty council.
It's over.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, I want to publicly say I wouldn't do that because I think it's imperative that we have at least conversation and involve them as we work on curriculum. And they've been very much involved in the discussion about Senate Bill 37 and what is required of Senate Bill 37. But the framework that we put together cannot proceed
Right.
if the board does not approve this. We can't move, we can't keep going.
You can't keep
It
going.
is-
Chair recognizes Ms. Newsom in attendance, and Chair recognizes Mr. Muir.
Thank you, Madam Chair, board members, Dr. Amita. So one thing that you'll see in this revision of the policy is a reference to Texas Education Code. There is a, let me read it here. It's 51.3522. So Senate Bill 37 amended that section of the Education Code, and there's substantial, revisions to that section. And you'll notice that there's topics that the policy references that the administration is going to implement procedures that deal with the appointment of the faculty senate, deal with their terms and these other items. The details in that section of the Education Code, which comes from Senate Bill 37. So it's the board, this policy is basically the board saying, we are establishing the faculty senate, and it's going to be run like this according to Texas Education Code 51.322, and administration is going to create policies and procedures to ensure that these laws are complied with.
And I think that the majority of the information from the bill has been placed in this policy. So everything.
Well, not all of it. It's so Senate Bill 37, you might
Has three
remember seeing
different
it's
parts.
extremely detailed.
Yes.
And so, for example, just look here, you do have some comments on the election of members. So one is appointed by the
Right.
college
Right.
president from the divisions, and then the members from the respective divisions appoint the other one. Officers are appointed by the college president. And then there's a method for doing these things. Even when you get to the quorum and the sections that deal with having to post the notice, all the topics are in here, but there's some meat to the bones that's in Senate Bill 37.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
And now, let's say Senate Bill 30, it's really, the way to look at it is Texas Education Code 5.1.
yes, that's,
Three.
I think
Yeah.
that's what we need to make sure. that we
513522.
Add to
Yeah.
this, you had it already, in the purpose, where it says
Mhm.
purpose.
Yeah.
You added including Texas Education Code 51.352
Right.
and subsequent amendments to Senate Bill
Yeah.
37.
We put that in two separate sections of the
Yeah.
policy.
Mhm.
And the update to our procedures will include all of those listed items, right? So internally, but we can't move forward with all
Without
of
our
that
approval.
Until we
till
Yeah.
you all establish it.
establish it, right?
Yeah.
So-
And that's correct, that the policy must be adopted by the board before there can be
It
a
could
faculty
continue.
council fully established. Yeah.
So basically, this is another
And the
step.
resolution, I think,
Yeah,
is,
the
which is
resolution
coming
is
up.
going to be
yeah.
the next one that we're going to talk about. So we're modifying the policy itself to adhere to that Senate Bill 37 plus the Texas Education Code. So I encourage our trustees to read Senate Bill 37 so that they can fully understand the ramifications and the changes that are coming about, because it doesn't only deal with the faculty senate / to be faculty council. It also deals with other topics that are going to be bestowed upon the board, and including trainings and including other items that we've been entrusted or appointed to do, in addition to what we've already been carried out with. So looking at the policy, this is what we are going to present to our board. And it has duly changed appropriately, correctly, and it reflects the Senate Bill 37 with the Texas Education Code changes. Mr. Muir?
Another kind of nuanced point to make is this policy advises, the board's advising administration, wants you to adopt procedures. The procedures that can be adopted, it's a very narrow, there's not much wiggle room there. So the administration is really going to adopt what's in the law. And it's not like, Dr. Amia say, okay, we're going to go and create this whole new set of rules. It's, you're handcuffed to a great degree.
Yes, yeah.
So if I may read on page 8, just to reiterate this for Thursday's meeting, at the bottom of that section, in section 5135, sorry, let me repeat that, 51.3522, section B, on page 8 at the bottom, it says, only the governing board of an institution of higher education may establish a faculty council or senate at the institution. Before establishing the faculty council or senate, the governing board must adopt a policy governing the selection of the faculty council or senate members. That, and then it goes off into the equal representation of each college and
Yes.
not more than 60. So it's very crucial. If we don't have this policy adopted, then pretty much we cannot move forward in establishing, because again, the major difference now is that the Board of Trustees is the only one that can establish it and can continue it, right?
Okay.
So if we establish it, then the Board of Trustees decides from here on whether it's going to continue or not.
And Dr. Marisela is referencing the page 8 or page 9, where it says only the governing board of an institution of higher education. You don't have copies of it
No.
on your files.
no.
But it may establish a faculty council or senate at the institution. Before establishing the faculty council or senate, just like she said right now, there's adopt a policy governing the selection of the faculty councils or senate's members. And then it explains. So if possible, I don't know if you already have a copy, but Ms. Bocanegra, if you could provide a copy of the Senate Bill 37 to all of our trustees, and maybe highlight that section to properly understand why we're doing what we're doing. Okay, so Ms. Vela?
Yeah, I just noticed that it's under the consent, and I'm wondering whether we should move it, because there may be some board members that have questions in case, for me, it's less time,
I
but
would,
at least give others a viewpoint on why we're doing this. And we're doing it because we have to, but
and certainly we can
what do you think?
remove it from the consent agenda prior to getting to the consent agenda. If the committee feels that it still needs to be, reviewed
by
by the rest of the
everybody.
board. But let me just tell you that we do receive all of our packages, and we do receive a summary of this meeting that takes place. So we provide it before we go to consent agenda. So it's up to the committee. If you feel that this is something that we can propose as we get to the meeting, then we will do that. Ms. Garcia, what is your response to that suggestion?
I feel like, yes, we already do receive everything that we need, and we do explain it. And I guess that I don't think we need to move it because I feel like, it's the law. It's the law,
That's right.
and we're just following the law. We're doing what we have to do.
Right.
Like Dr. Ramirez said, it's at our discretion at the end of the day, at her discretion, if we have a council or not. If we don't decide on it, we're not going to have one.
That's correct.
Really is what we're saying,
Mhm.
right?
It's a law.
It's the
It's the
law.
law.
So, I feel like this is something that everybody should have already looked at because it's very important, prior to our meetings. So I really don't think we do need it,
Thank you, ma'am.
my
Ms.
opinion.
Newsom?
I agree.
You agree? Okay. And also, to make note is that our committee meets together as a committee prior to the general meeting. And I would hope that they have enough faith and confidence in us that we are proceeding accordingly to what is being dictated by, by certain bills that are taking place, right? But definitely in our conversation and our summarization, we can also advise or remind the board to read up on the act, also look over the documents that should have been read before the meeting. But also, if they have any questions or any concerns or any issues, I see it as this. It's there, and we need to act upon it. And if we don't do it, it's going to hinder us going to the next step. And so that's why we added this item, plus we also added the next item that's coming up. So definitely, I think a good summarization and a good opportunity to provide to the rest of the board members. Everybody's welcome at the committee meetings. So, and we're being videotaped, so.
And also, I mean, I think that honestly, as a board, at different times that we've spoken, I think that we value very much what our faculty has to say and how important the faculty council is to us, because there are eyes and ears. They are the people that are out there every day working with the students and with, each other. So, I mean, that's why I say I think it's a good thing. They have always been in advisory capacity. That's not going to change. What changes is the structure. And really, we're just following what we have to do. So,
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I'm ready. I want this to pass and for us to get started with our council.
And I think your next item will also
Right.
outline.
Yes,
Right.
and it works together. Dr. Maricela? Number 4, can I move on to the next one? Okay. Number 4 is discuss the adoption of an amended resolution authorizing the continuation and ratification of the Faculty Council. Dr. Maricela Rodriguez Tijerina, before I pass it on to you, I do want to say that we had this item on the agenda for our meeting last time. We should have voted on it so that we could, the timeline was that we should have continued with it. However, we decided to put a pause on it because we needed to reflect a little bit more on it. So that's why we brought it back. I just wanted to make sure that the committee understood why we're revisiting this, because it was on the agenda, but we're bringing it back because we put a pause on it at that meeting. Okay? So Dr. Maricela?
Maricela Rodriguez Tijerina, Provost Vice President of Academic Affairs. This is a modification or an amendment to the resolution that was approved in July's Board of Trustees. In July, we took a stance and created our own, as Laredo College, ratification to the Faculty Council. However, maybe a month later, Texas Association Community College provided one that if all colleges could basically have the same
Right.
resolution. And when we read it, we agreed with it. We already modified it as to include the divisional delegations that faculty voiced last month. So if you look at 1B here, you already have the divisional delegations. And so definitely we're working together. As you can see in this resolution, it does have more details as far as the limit numbers of not more than 60, with at least 2 representatives from each academic divisional delegation, including 1 member from each divisional delegation appointed by the Chief Executive Officer of the college, and the remaining members elected by the vote of the faculty of the members' respective divisional delegation. And then, of course, it talks about their advisory role and what they represent, and they may not issue any statement or publish a report using the institution's official seal, trademark, or resources funded by the institution on any matter not directly related to the Faculty Council duties to advise the institution's administration. And then it goes on about how members of the Faculty Council are not entitled to compensation or reimbursement of expenses for their roles as members. Again, this is all verbiage
That comes straight from
That
there.
comes straight from the law.
From the
From
law.
Senate
Right,
Bill
right.
37. And then it talks about, as I mentioned earlier, it's very specific, the law, not administration,
Right.
on their term, and that's what number
Right.
5 is. And then it also talks about how if there's misconduct, the provost will make recommendations to the CEO, and then from there, the faculty member serving may be removed due to those items that are mentioned in those parameters. Now, before the Constitution, the faculty would control that.
Themselves.
Now, right.
Now it's-
It's
you all.
Belongs to
on
administration.
us, right.
So basically, I'm sorry.
Ms. Zella, go ahead.
Basically, it's everything that we just went through, but formally stated
In a
In a-
resolution.
in
in a
resolution.
resolution.
Yes,
So
which also has to be,
approved by us.
Approved.
Madam Chair.
yes, Dr. Ramirez?
And just for the record, I'd like to, if y'all will approve this, to change the numbering, because I think we have 2 number 1s, and that was an oversight on our part.
Yes,
Okay.
Just to fix the numbering
Okay.
and to remind you that this resolution was recommended by TAC
But, yes.
to us and to all of the community colleges, all 50 community colleges in Texas. And at our recent meeting, I think about 40 had already approved it. So,
Okay.
so we're one of the few pending to move forward.
and this item needs to be, cannot be in consent agenda because it's going to have to be written.
It has to be read in public, yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
so this item is not going to be in the consent agenda item. It's
It's
going to be under
8A, isn't it? 8A,
8A? Yes.
8A.
Okay, yes,
Mhm.
correct.
Mr. Muir had something.
Mr. Muir, I recognize Mr. Muir.
Just a very brief comment about the resolution. So this is all legal requirements.
Right.
There's
Yes.
really
Right.
nothing in here that, oh, the coordinating
No.
board or the college or somebody invented a new requirement. It's all, and that's the message I think we're getting here. This is all driven by the law.
And
Ms. Garcia?
And I think that's why I'm saying that we could leave the other in the consent agenda, because really this is giving us all the detail. Everything we need to know, it's the same thing.
Right
We're
out of the
pulling it
statute.
from the Senate bill, right? And we're putting it into our resolution. We're doing exactly what the state is telling us that we have to do. And I mean, let's get it done.
Let's get
You
it
know.
done, yes.
Get her
The
done.
sooner the better to
Yes.
proceed accordingly.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
okay. Before I let you go.
Uh-huh.
So I would like to take our attention to let's see, hold on, number 7. So I'm going to skip to number 7, but then I'm going to come back to the others. Discuss modification to Laredo College Board Policy, BD Local and BD Regulation Board meetings. If you take a look at that particular policy, under BD Local, you have the way that the board meeting is conducted. So my question, and that's why I brought it here, because we were talking about all of
Board
this
meetings, okay.
board meetings. There is a section under the regulation where it says the routine roll call, approval of minutes, public testimony, recognitions, faculty senate report, associated student organization report. And you can see it on the monitor.
Oh, on the moment.
So with the changes, and Mr. Muir will also be advising us, with the changes, do we eliminate the faculty senate report, or do we change it, or wait until we create the faculty council to bring it back and put it under the board meetings?
Yeah, I mean, I think now you do not have a faculty senate.
Correct, so we need to take off.
I think that,
Letter E.
yeah, I know that we had it on last month. I noticed that. I just thought, well, there's things that are in flux, faculty are concerned and so forth. So I thought, from a practical point of view, it was useful to hear from the fact, but there is no faculty senate, so I don't,
But we
and there
can't-
is no faculty council established, so I don't think,
So-
but moving forward, once you establish it, that's.
I can bring it back
you can-
to that, to the report. Or will we be allowed to still have them report
I think if I may,
Yes.
at the discretion of the president.
at the discretion of the president? Okay. So my proposal to change this item is eliminate letter E, okay? To remove it. And also letter G, because we do not have a classified staff
Staff
organization,
organization.
correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so we would be keeping Associated Student Organization report, correct?
It's Student Government Association.
Student
Government.
Government,
Association. Okay. Because they now belong to the National Student Government Association. They
Yes.
changed their name last fall.
okay. Before, so that would be the changes on the routine. If I can ask you to go to BD Local on the monitor, and we're gonna go to the section entitled Representatives. It says 2 non-voting representatives, 1 representing the faculty and 1 representing the students shall represent the respective organizations before the board. Mr. Muir, we also would change that as well, correct?
Okay, sorry, I was taking a note here on this. too.
Sorry.
Let me
Under
get to the local
representatives?
policy. I'm not able to
Two
see it well.
BD
from here.
Local,
Which section, which
BD
paragraph?
Local under representatives.
I've got it. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that would be, that could be changed. I mean, says
Needs to be changed.
2 non-voting representatives, 1 representing the faculty and 1 representing the students shall represent their organizations before the board. The
It would only
one
be the-
representing the faculty, that's not in
No,
place
so it would
now.
be a representative of the
One representative.
Government
student.
Association.
Student Government Association shall represent the respective organization before the board.
And then with regards, even once you create the faculty council, that's at the discretion of the college
We can bring it
president,
back.
so you don't even have to put that in here.
Yeah.
If you don't want to.
So,
Question,
Ms. Newsom?
yes, why does it have to be like at the discretion of the president? No offense, Dr. Ramirez.
Senate Bill 37.
The
Where
law.
does it say, no, no, but where does it say that they can't present? I mean, they're only an advisory.
Oh, no, what they're saying is that it's based on her recommendation, but it is on the, let me see, hold on. Let me go back to that.
Oh, no, I know
I didn't
that,
bring it with
I
me.
know that, Dr. Ramirez has to pick, a person from every division.
Mhm.
Your mic.
But maybe I'm confusing or not understanding, what you're saying, that we don't have to put that because it doesn't exist, yet.
We can bring it back
We
later.
can bring it back later. when
Yeah,
it
we're
does
gonna bring it
exist.
back later. We're just,
Because I do want to have the faculty senate or council or whatever it is that we're going to call it, to have the opportunity
Right.
to
present.
Right.
no, and that is correct. The only thing that we're doing on the policy side, we have to remove the section that, because we cannot bring them in just yet because they don't have a faculty council.
Right now, they don't
Doesn't
exist.
exist.
So right now, what we're doing.
It
is
doesn't
this.
exist.
Right
And
now.
then we'll come back in
So that's what we're
January.
saying.
In January, when it does
When it does
exist,
exist,
we're
then we
gonna
bring
come
it
back and we'll put it in.
But it's at the
It doesn't-
discretion of the president if we're gonna ask for it, and she's gonna say, yes, we're gonna bring them back. When have the council has,
We'll
when
add
has the
it to
council
the
been
January
created?
board
It'll
meeting,
be for
agenda.
January. That's when it
Yeah.
comes into existence.
assuming we have it completed.
By that time.
By that time.
Correct. Mhm. Yeah. What we're doing on the policy side is making sure that what is listed there, just like we did with the other one, with the changes in the policy of the faculty senate, we want to make sure that we are in compliance, especially on the board meetings. Because if we continue to keep faculty senate report,
Will be against
we
the
don't
law.
have a faculty senate anymore. We've already finished with that, right? So the creation of the new council, whether it takes 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, needs to reflect on the policy because we're adhering to policy. So we create our own policy at the same time because we're making sure that every single thing that we're doing on the board meeting is in accordance with A, the policy, B, with the law, which is, had just come in for this year. The 2 non-voting representatives at the moment for right now, because at the bottom of the page of every policy, there are dates that reflect when it's changed. So if we change it for now, that means that we are actually monitoring our own policy in accordance with the changes that are happening in the legislature. So the two non-voting representatives, one representing the faculty and one representing the students, will be removed. And for right now, we will come back to it. We will say one non-voting representative representing the students shall represent the respective organization before the board. In other words, we only have to have one sentence that includes the students for right now. Because on the section entitled the routine, we have done away with, for right now, because there is no faculty senate, we've done away with letter E and letter G. Letter G, we don't have one, so we are removing it for right now. If there's a creation of that in the future, then we'll come back to it and we'll place it under the
But
board.
that's what we're doing. We're creating, I mean, not we're creating, but we are establishing this policy that we're going to move forward with having a faculty senate. Am I correct?
Correct, yes.
Council.
Council.
But we need to remember that it can't come into effect until January.
Yeah.
So we need to take it out for now
Mhm.
and then bring it back in January when it comes into effect.
Yes, Dr.
If you all recall, there was a timeline we presented
Yes.
to you all in
Yes.
July.
Yes.
In that timeline, our goal was to have
Everything.
everything ready
By November.
by, well, yes, but that's not going to happen.
Right.
So by January, we wanted everything in place.
Right, right.
So ideally, what we want is in January to be able to bring forth the new procedures, the new officers, the new establishment, and have all that happen in the remainder of this fall semester.
Okay.
The elections need to happen
Mhm.
both internally by divisions or delegations, and then we can continue to move forward. They have to rewrite their constitution, their bylaws. They have, all of that has to happen before they can actually conduct their first meeting. And
Exactly.
it could be February. It just depends on how long the organization takes.
Ms. Garcia?
So then thereafter, like as soon as they're ready, then at our policy meeting
Then we can bring it in.
before the board meeting, then we will come back
Yes,
and we
ma'am.
will add this back into the agendas.
That is correct, because if you leave it in now, you're in violation of
Yes,
the law.
because we
Right.
no longer have that.
And I do want to say before I call on Dr. Tejerina is, our program and policy committee, it works on the framework of the policies.
Right.
We have to stay up to date. There's no way, we can just sit on it and just say, we'll be taken care of. We're going to wait till January to change it. No, we need to make sure that we stay ready to maintain our framework, because the BD local and the BD regulation is all about framework on how we conduct our meetings. And if we have that item on the routine, we are in violation. So we wouldn't want to do that. Ms. Vela first, and then I'll call on Dr. Taylor.
Why would they want to do this? Everything was so fine. I don't understand the logic behind it. I mean, that's terrible, but
Adherence, we just need to adhere. Dr. Tejerina?
someone that doesn't have anything better to do than think about what they're
Our
going to
job is
change.
not to question why, but to make sure it gets done.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, but
Appreciate it.
If I can make a suggestion, maybe just leaving it general to address Ms. Newsom's remarks, maybe just leaving non-voting representatives. In other words, don't put a number to it. Non-voting representatives may present or shall be represented by approved board organizations, right? Because
that's true.
once you
Thank you.
declare faculty council to be approved, then they're automatically going to be on the agenda. I mean, in my opinion, I don't know how legal feels about it.
Maybe represented, maybe.
Or shall be
or
represented.
Shall be.
shall represent their respective organizations before the board. Leave
I mean,
that
just a
second
thought.
half of the sentence there?
Yes. Mhm.
And just take out the,
Where it says two non-voting representatives, one representing the faculty, one representing the students.
well, right,
Non-voting representatives
right,
in
because
general.
because if the staff decides to reorganize, then they would have the option to
Correct.
come back as
Also
well.
Yes.
Present,
I
right?
would hope, but
Non-voting representatives shall represent their respective organizations before the board. Mr. Muir?
Yeah, somebody mentioned this language, non-voting representatives approved by the board. And then you continue, shall represent
Okay.
their respective
Approved by
organizations
the board.
before the board. That's one way to go, so that it's limited to non-voting representatives approved by the board.
So the final verbiage would be non-voting representatives approved by the board shall represent their respective organizations before the board, under representatives. Okay?
Okay, sounds good.
and
Are we
that
good,
way
Ms. Bocanegra?
something
Yes.
stays.
I didn't want you to get all mixed up. So I did want to kind of sort of put it together with 3, 4, and 7 because it all deals with the same topic. So I went ahead and just moved on to number 7. Anything else?
No, but I do agree, remove faculty senate because it was abolished. And
Yes.
then once we have faculty council, or
We
when
can
we
put it back on
bring
the
back
agenda.
the
Put it back.
faculty council procedures, and then we can
can bring it
remind
back.
you, or remind Dr. Ramirez that
I'll be on
this,
top of it.
that this
Don't worry.
policy also needs to be updated, because then at that point, we do need to add faculty
Yes.
council
Right.
back
The
to the
agenda.
agenda.
And also the letter F, under the routine of the BD regulation, Ms. Bocanegra, is going to read Student Government Association Report. Okay? And we proposed to remove Faculty Senate Report, letter E and letter G. Okay? That way, I think the verbiage and the local policy can open an opportunity in the event, Dr. Ramirez, that a classified staff group wants to organize again, we can put them
Bring it
there.
back in.
It
Okay,
would be
put them in
nice.
back here. Any other comments from the committee? Okay, thank you, Dr. Tejerin, I appreciate it. I feel like we accomplished a lot with those 3.
Yes.
Okay. Continuing on with Senate Bill 37, new training requirements for governing board members. I'm happy to say that we had 100% of our board members complete their trainings for the last fiscal year, but the new fiscal year has begun. And in that act, you will see, we're going to get you copies of it. You will see the different training requirements that are going to be brought up. They will be provided at a meeting in December. The Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board is providing that training that's going to be available for everybody. And then there's going to be, I believe, focus on all of the ones that are listed on Senate Bill 37. I'm just going to read very briefly some of the ones that are being required. Auditing procedures and recent audits of institutions of higher education. The enabling legislation that creates institutions of higher education. Number 3, the role of the governing board at institutions of higher education and the relationship between the governing board and an institution's administration, faculty, and staff, and students, including limitations on the authority of the governing board. Number 4, the mission statements of institutions of higher education. Number 5, disciplinary and investigative authority of the governing board. Number 6, the requirements of the Open Meetings Law, Chapter 551 Government Code, and the Open Records Law, Chapter 552 Government Code. Number 7, the requirements of conflict of interest laws and other laws relating to public officials. Number 8, any applicable ethics policies adopted by institutions of higher education or the Texas Ethics Commission. Number 9, the requirements of laws relating to the protection of student information under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act of 1974, 20 USC Section 1232G, or any other federal or state laws relating to the privacy of student information. Number 10, an overview of the legislature, the General Appropriations Act, and the state budget as those topics relate to the responsibilities of the governing board. Number 11, an emphasis on the commitment the members of the governing board are making to A, the institution of higher education under the board's control and management, and if applicable, the university system, B, this state, and C, taxpayers of this state, and number 12, any other topic related to higher education the board considers important. On completion of a training program under this section, a member of a governing board shall provide a sworn statement affirming the member's understanding of the member's duties and responsibilities. I wanted to make sure that I list this under the Program and Policy Committee meeting because these are the new training requirements that are going to be provided for us. It is under the consent agenda, I believe, that we placed number 5, but it's more informational for the board members. Therefore, I encourage all of our board members to have a copy prepared and ready of the Senate Bill 37 to be informed and know of what the expectations are coming up. There will be a meeting in December, and I believe that they will be providing the majority of the trainings during that time. Any questions from our committee members for number 5? Yes, Dr. Ramirez.
There's been discussion at, from TAC to the coordinating board about follow-up trainings for those that aren't able to make it in December. There is discussion going on at the coordinating board about what they're going to do to provide additional support, and whether or not those recordings of those trainings are going to be made available electronically. Is the December meeting going to be made available electronically? So there's still discussion about what could or could not happen in December. And as we gather that information, we will send it to you all electronically, or as soon as Liz or I get it, we will forward it to you all. Okay.
And also, I'd like to add that there are some other new changes that are coming about, especially from TASB for the policies. So we shall be looking at that also as well, relating to the new training requirements. Mr. Muir, question, are training requirements that we have taken, we continue to take those?
Well, let me focus in on this part of Senate Bill 37 and answer it that way. So this part of Senate Bill 37, what it does is it amends subsection D of Education Code Section 61.084. So 61.084, it's been out there for a long time. There is a laundry list of courses that have to be taken, and they have to be taken by newly elected board members within their first year of service. So to that list was added numbers 10, 11, and 12. Basically, those other ones were already there. So that section is basically addressing the newly elected board members. And I talked to the Higher Education Coordinating Board General Counsel, the lawyer who kind of leads all of their department there. And I said, look, I've got a question. Board members who are not newly elected, obviously they didn't have the opportunity or requirement to take these new trainings that you've added to the laundry list. So is it the position of the coordinating board that they are required to take this new training? And she waffled on it. And I want to say that respectfully. But yeah, just like other sections of the law that, I was talking to Dr. Amidas and other administrators last week, gosh, there's some of these new laws that have come in effect that there's ambiguity there. My recommendation is that all board members take these new trainings. Now, I don't believe that under 61.084 that you have to take those courses over and over again. I mean, just once you take them, you're done. Now, there's the Public Information Act, and there's some
That's the
other
one I was
laws
asking
that
about.
talk about that. I mean, those, the more you take PIA and Open Meetings Act courses, the better. Those, especially the Open Meetings Act courses, those directly.
So that will stay, the Public Information Act and the Open Meetings Act?
And I would recommend the public information one everybody take? Because there
Every
have
year.
been changes
Yes, right,
made
right.
to that
Okay.
particular legislation.
So for the record, the Senate Bill 37, new training requirements are going to be for everybody,
Mhm.
but we're also going to continue with the Public Information Act and the Open Meetings Act. And the other one, Elizabeth, was the one, the no before, the cybersecurity, that continues every year as well. So just for the record, we want to make sure that we present this to the board, let them know that these trainings are in addition to the other trainings that we take on a yearly basis, okay? Any comments or any concerns based on number 5? Okay, we go on to number 6. The Freeport exemptions under Texas Tax Code 11.251 and Article 8, Section 1 through J of the Texas Constitution. I bring this before the board. There really wasn't anything on record as far as policies, but given the situation that we encountered during our last budget meeting that we had, we noticed that there was some Freeport exemptions that were removed from the total market value of what we were certifying for our tax rolls in the tune of $637,379,305. And if you want to write this, you can write this, because I have it all in my paper, but I didn't write it down on a sheet of paper for you all. This year, we had 192 businesses that took advantage of the Freeport exemption from the Texas State Comptroller's Office. This is provided through an application by the appraisal office, where the businesses apply every January. By January, they submit their documents and they put their documents in there. The Freeport exemption is a personal property tax exemption for goods that are detained in Texas for 175 days or less. Freeport goods consist of personal property that is acquired in or imported into Texas to be forwarded to a location outside of the state. Goods in transit are goods acquired inside or outside Texas, detained for storing purposes, and then shipped to another location in or out of Texas within 175 days. In both cases, the owner of the goods has no direct or indirect ownership of the facility where the goods are stored. A Freeport exemption applies to goods, wares, ores, merchandise, and to aircraft or repair parts used by a certified air carrier. Oil, gas, and petroleum products defined as liquid and gaseous materials immediately derived from refining petroleum or natural gas are not eligible. For cotton stored in a warehouse to qualify for the Freeport exemption, the warehouse operator may file a one-time application for the exemption. Property qualifies as Freeport goods whether or not the person who transports it out of the state was a person who owned the property on January the 1st. Taxing units may elect to tax the goods notwithstanding the above. This is coming from the Texas Comptroller's website. So the application is listed there in the website for the appraisal under the resources, and there's important information that relates to this. And the reason why I bring it before you is so that we can discuss whether we need to bring it to the board to have this exemption be one of our exemptions from the college. As it stands right now, the city and the county are the only two, in addition to ourselves, that we provided the exemption for the community. Now, the application is used to claim a property tax exemption for Freeport goods pursuant to the Texas Constitution, Article 8, Section 1 through J, and Tax Code Section 11.251. The application is filed in January and is approved by the appraiser, not us. We don't approve it.
Okay.
The appraiser approves the application that is filed within the office. And he is the one that determines whether they qualify for this exemption or not. A late application can be filed no later than June 15th, and depending on when the certification of the tax rolls is done, then that's when they tell them whether they qualify for the application or not. An annual application is required Therefore, the 192 individual businesses that applied this year might not apply next year. However, the total amount that was exempted for this fiscal year was $637 million. That is a lot of money that we exempted from the total property value.
But that $637 million was not coming to us.
No, it wasn't. It was
Okay.
from the appraisal. So in other words, all of the other exemptions that are provided from the state controllers are listed on our certified tax roll values that we received. And again, it looks kind of messy because I was writing all these numbers down and everything. But yes, this is what we are dealing with. So does our board want to continue affording that exemption when the other, the institutions, which is the county and the city, are the only ones that are actually using it? The districts are not exempting any sort of business from this. I bring it to the board. I'm going to bring it to you all, and if you all want me to, I can leave it under the section for not the consent agenda, but I did find that there's a process to remove or modify the Freeport exemption, and you do it by a resolution.
But-
Can I ask Mr. Muir first? if
Yes,
he
go
has any-
ahead. Mhm.
Before I call it.
No, go ahead.
Mr. Muir,
Yes, ma'am.
I was explaining that in order for us to not participate in this exemption, we would do a resolution. So do you have any comments or any input based on the Freeport exemption?
Yeah.
Am I correct in what I said?
So the Freeport exemption is something that we have, right? The college adopted that. You have that. If the board would want to make a change to that, we just have to look at it. I haven't spoken to the Webb County Appraisal District, but you are correct in saying that the Webb County Appraisal District examines who is qualified or not, but it's the governing bodies that adopt that
Who
exemption.
adopt the
Yeah.
exemption? And we did search for the time when the exemption was adopted, but we didn't find it. So our governing board decided to participate in the Freeport exemption at one time or another. This has nothing to do with the other, which is the one that we gave Dr. Ramirez the authority to receive the letters. Can you remind us a little bit about that one, Mr. Muir?
Yes, that's I'm trying to recall the name of it, but that's the one where the warehouse has a designated space that
Yes.
is basically goods that are received and they're
The
not
free
going to be
trade. The
taxed.
free trade agreement, yeah.
The free trade. And in order to qualify to be in a free trade zone, steps have to be taken and the college expresses whether they agree or not. It's totally different animal. You are correct. But the commonality is that those goods aren't taxed either in the free trade
Correct.
exemption.
But
Yeah,
totally
there's the
different.
commonality,
Totally
right.
different.
But this Freeport, it's statutory. The Texas tax code is the one that creates it. So the Texas legislature is the one that created this exemption and their requirements to qualify for that exemption and then, the types of goods that would qualify. I don't know, there was, maybe you said this earlier, but what the total amount of dollars that the college is not collecting as a result of these.
We didn't, I didn't look into that specifically because I focused on how much exemptions were attributed to our total market value. So I know that our total market value was 33 billion in change, but after the exemptions were accounted for, which was 7 billion, 7 billion in exemptions, some of them are listed as exemptions that you cannot remove.
Yes,
Yeah.
there's some that you can't.
Freeport is one of those exemptions that every year they have to apply for it because it's different people applying for it. So the same people that applied for it this year, if you know what you're doing and you're going to apply for the exemption, it's not like the homestead exemption. The homestead exemption, once you file it and you live in that home, you're going to claim that homestead exemption only from, let's say, the school districts or from whoever the entity is participating in. or over 65, disabled. Those are exemptions that you cannot change. This Freeport exemption is different because you have to apply for it every year and it's not the same people. And who approves that exemption, again, just like the homestead exemption, is approved by the appraiser. Mr. Muir, you had something else that you
No,
wanted?
no, I think that's, yeah, nothing else to add on that.
So I wanted to consider, and we don't have to do it today, we don't have to, but I wanted to start the conversation because we need to act on it before December, because that's when the applications come in January. So if we're gonna make those changes, I mean, it's all for the greater good of, our tax rolls. We would come up with a resolution, bring it back, and if you all have any more questions or any concerns, we can continue to review it and then bring it back in November, and see if this is something that we can provide a resolution to it. Ms. Garcia? I know you had
Yes,
something.
how would it hurt us if we were not to include it? What is the difference? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Right now, we have it as an exemption or whatever. If we were to say, we don't want that anymore, what difference is it gonna make to the college or to our bottom line? I
It's
mean, really?
revenue.
It's revenue,
It's revenue.
more revenue.
I know,
Tax revenue.
but is it? I mean, what is it? What do you think it could be or
Yeah,
what?
honestly, I don't know what
I
the
don't
dollar
either.
value is, and I'm not sure if that's, that is probably broken down by the Webb County
Okay.
tax assessor collector, and she may be able to get us a figure. I'm not sure if Mr. Vela's office has ever received any figures on what that quantity is, but I do not know. I suspect it's not substantial.
I think that what is, the reason why I addressed it was because of the large amount of exemption that was removed from our total market value of the properties. So our total market value was 33 billion. That's how much the value of all the properties in yes, and the 100,503 accounts that we have, right? So that is removed from the total market value, and then you tax on what is removed from there. If we were to get, let's say, for example, this year was 637 million, added back to the 24.5 that we are adjusting for the taxable value, then we would generate more revenue.
Yeah.
Mr. Muir?
I think the bottom line with the Freeport exemption is that it exempts certain types of personal property from ad valorem taxation. And I think that the board administration would need to look at that, in my opinion, look at, okay, well, what is the amount of tax dollars that we're foregoing as a result of the
Right.
folks that are receiving the exemption that are within our boundaries, right? Because there are going to be some outside of the city of Laredo that are,
Not included.
that might, and I don't know, I can't recall if the county has Freeport, they may not. So that would be it. I think one way to study this would be, okay, let's take a look as a result of this exemption, how much are we not collecting in taxes? And you remember that our tax rate, it's 0.022, so forth, per $100 valuation. So you'd have to look at what is exempt, get that dollar valuation, multiply it times the tax rate.
Based on the exemption, right? Correct, Mr. Vela?
So if we, good afternoon, Cesar Vela, VP of Finance and Administration, for the record. If we're looking at the exemption, of 636 million, using our tax rate, we're pretty much, that would amount to about 1.4 million in tax revenue that is not coming in because of that, 1.4 million,
Yes.
based on the
Hold
rate.
So I think there are a couple of questions. One is, are the revenues that are here less than 175 days taxable at all? because my original understanding of that, and I could be wrong, because I'm no expert, but is that if they were here less than 175 days, they weren't taxable anyway. And so if that's the case, the way goods travel in and out of our community, there's a lot of that would not qualify for our tax rate. That's the first question. And the second question is, are the figures all within our taxing district, or is that the entire county? Because if that's the entire county, then there are parts of that
We
we
don't
would
get-
not qualify.
Right.
And then the third question would be, where are we getting, the figures that we're using, are those the figures that are certified by the appraiser, or are they the figures? Because I know that we had some question about what was presented at the board meeting and then what we ended up getting as the final. And so I think we need to clarify the numbers first. Second of all, just to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples. And then what does the law say that, that would allow us to either participate or not participate? And if we are losing $1.7 million, and I say we don't participate.
Well, exactly. And that is the reason why I brought it to the table. When Mr. Pergoy explained to me that for this year, it was 192 accounts that were participating, then my little wheel started, working. And then when I saw the numbers based on what it was here, yes, the Freeport exemption is one of those exemptions that fluctuates every year. So definitely it's a topic of discussion that needs to be brought back up. Again, all within the tax revenue not coming in. If Mr. Vela is correct and he is, because he knows the numbers, but if we're basing ourselves on the numbers that are listed here, the 637, this is from that form that was given to us. So
Right.
I based myself on what I saw on the form. And if there's clarification that needs to be done, then I will go back and I will reclarify. I wanted to have this conversation started so that we can consider it, because it's 3 months before the applications are due. So in order for us to act upon and proceed with our due diligence, because we need to make sure that, yes, those exemptions that people qualify for and that they're non-negotiable, they stay non-negotiable. But if this is a negotiable exemption that's going to benefit the college, we need to take into consideration all the ways and means that we can address this resolution. So I'm going to pull it out with your agreement, because we're not voting on it, but I'm going to pull it out, and I would like to have this discussion once again, maybe in November, prior to the meeting, and see if we can bring back a resolution, bring it to the board, and then do a little bit more studies. Mr. Vela, do you have any other input? Because I noticed you put some more numbers to the.
No, we're looking into it.
Okay. So if we can work together on that, it's a team effort. I want to be able to exercise my opportunity to either keep it or remove it or present a resolution. Is everyone in agreement with the procedure of what we're going through? Okay?
I am.
Yes? Okay. So I hope that you all understand the reason why I brought it back is, more importantly, from the due diligence part and also from the part of the value of, we have a lot of discussion on the taxes and everything else, but we do need to make sure that we are solvent at all times. And one of those things is to read carefully into this certified tax roll. this document that is given to us on a yearly basis before we pass our budget is not set in stone by anyone. We need to make sure that we're looking at it and that we are appropriately using those numbers that are going to be properly and positively affecting our college. And so I have done a little bit of my homework, but I will continue to do more homework. And thank you for allowing me to bring it to the committee, okay? I appreciate that. We already discussed number 7. Number 8 is going to be another item, discuss modification to Laredo College Board Policy, BBG Local Board Members Compensation and Expenses, and BBH Local Board Members Conventions and
Conferences.
and compensation. I'm going to ask the committee to set aside this agenda item. We are needing to go back and review some items that are, I guess, after the effect from the Senate Bill 37. So I would like to continue looking into this, and I'll bring it back to you all at a later time. So I'm going to remove number 8, but I will do that at the board meeting, Elizabeth.
Defer
Okay,
it.
I will defer it or set aside for another time, okay? Any questions, any concerns?
No.
I really appreciate you coming during lunch. It's for us, it was a working lunch, and thank you for being here with us. Any other comments or concerns or issues from the administration or legal? None? Okay, so we're good. So this concludes our meeting of the Program and Policy Committee meeting. It is 1:15, and I thank you very much for your attendance. Thank you very much for coming, ladies.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.